Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Monday, April 21, 2025 and the fourth month of the year is quickly passing by. I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
Q1 is almost over and I'm Warid Ahmed and we have a great show for you today. Now, firstly, we're going to discuss how the UAE is set to use AI to write laws, and it's the first globally to do this. Adnoc is on the shortlist to purchase Shell South Africa fuel stations. We're also going to be discussing Blevins' Facebook account announcement and how they said that they're reopening their branches in Saudi Arabia. Tourism hit 13% of Abu Dhabi's GDP in 2025, 13% of total GDP. And Dubai's RTA has inked a memorandum of understanding with China's Baidu to launch trials for self-driving taxis.
First of all, let's discuss Dubai AI Week, which is starting today. It's a very big event. It's the first ever Dubai AI Week, which was announced by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, the Crown Prince of Dubai. Going to be a 5-day long event.
And I just want to put out there that this event, not only is it like a conference event, but it's actually taking place in school too. I remember when we'd written this story, what I found surprising about it was he applied it to every single sector. So this week, it's going to be about everything AI.
So if you don't know about it, go find Dubai AI Week. It's the website is like very nicely updated. The main numbers I can tell you is nearly 180 speakers, global speakers, 150 sessions and workshops. All of them are free for public, so you just register and go there. It's in Emirates Tower, the whole event. Today, there's only one thing, which is like a closed thing. It's AI retreat, which is like 100 plus speakers, but they're very exclusive speakers from all over the world.
Guys, I would suggest to schedule very early because when you actually schedule, you choose the sessions that you want to go to. They like say there's like, I don't know, 3 sessions between 10:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. You're only allowed to choose one of them, and some of them have already been filled up. So the spots have been filled up. You need to.
You're already late, left. So whatever you can do, just try to find the best that you know. There's 15 plus country delegations also coming, so that's going to be interesting. And there's an exhibition also. We'll try to go there one day at least to give you a look of what is happening there. Maybe second, third, or fourth day. So we'll keep you updated. Follow us on social media so you know what's happening. The way AI Week, let's talk about more AI. So in the world first, the United Arab Emirates is set to use artificial intelligence to write, amend, and review legislation, which is laws, and it's a move officials say could accelerate the lawmaking process by up to 70%. The plan was unveiled by UAE Vice President and Dubai ruler His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and was announced following a recent cabinet meeting, which we reported on, I think, last week.
Now, Sheikh Mohammed, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, said the AI-driven system will change how we create laws, making the process faster and more precise. Now, to oversee the initiative, ministers approved the formation of a new cabinet unit, the Regulatory Intelligence Office, tasked with managing the AI integration into the legal system.
And the UAE has already made significant investments in AI, including the creation of MGX, which is a $100 billion giant. They've invested nearly everywhere. They've backed the project, which includes BlackRock, if I remember correctly, Microsoft, Elon Musk's XAI also joined the same $30 billion AI infrastructure fund.
Also, Sam Altman's $500 billion Stargate project in the US.
That's also under it. They invested $2 billion in Binance. They've literally invested everywhere. Soon, if they're planning, there was a report on Bloomberg that if they somehow manage to get a stake in Perplexity, they can become the first fund or first person in the world to hold a share in all big AI. So they have OpenAI stake, they have XAI stake, and if they go to Perplexity, they'll be the first in the world to have all major AI things under their umbrella.
Now, experts say the UAE's approach goes further than any other government to date. Now, while countries have used AI to summarize bills or, optimize public services, which I'm sure you've all experienced yourselves, the UAE plans to allow AI to suggest legislative changes by analyzing vast databases of federal laws, court judgments, and public sector data.
And however, researchers quoted by Financial Times have flagged serious concerns, including issues with AI reliability, hidden biases, and the risk of incomprehensible or impractical proposals. Vincent Straub, who was quoted by Financial Times of Oxford University, warned that current AI models are prone to hallucinations and lack robustness, making full trust in their outputs risky.
Now, despite the challenges, analysts say the UAE's centralized and fast-moving government structure allows it to experiment with sweeping digital reforms more easily than many democracies. But experts, they do caution and, that clear oversight and strong safeguards must be in place to avoid unintended consequences.
Yeah, the main thing about it is the hallucinations part. It was really interesting when I was reading it, that hallucinations are when AIs create news out of nowhere or something out of nowhere just because you were questioning them. If you remember GPT's early era when there was no search in it and the data was dated till 2021, you would ask something which happened in 2022 or 2023 and it'll give you an answer which was very dated, very old. And then you would question it like, no, but I think this happened in 2022, 2023, and ChatGPT was like, okay, yes, I think this happened. So that is called a hallucination on the side of AI.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
Majid. So I find this quite worrisome. I think this is why I prefer Grok sometimes. I use
Very
both.
updated.
Yeah, I use both ChatGPT and Grok, but something that I've noticed is that Grok never actually tells me information that's not true. It doesn't make something up to accommodate to a question that I have, but ChatGPT does do that. So I worry how that will play into
They
laws.
put this regulatory authority in place, so obviously this will see whatever is happening if it's being used, right? The great thing I think would be they won't be relying a lot on ChatGPT or anyone. They will build a native system, a native AI chatbot, and we've seen that in Abu Dhabi. They have JAIS, I don't know, it's JES or JAIS, but it's Arabic language LLM which they use. They just recently, last year in November or December, they announced that they've upgraded it. So Abu Dhabi, the UAE as a whole is developing their own native LLMs, their own native AI. So most probably they'll be using that. And since that is being made by them, they can set the parameters, they can set the standards. So obviously it will be less prone to mistakes.
You know what I find really interesting that, the US, unlike the UAE, which has, passed something like this where, they can use AI to write their laws. Instead, Trump didn't do that. He hired Elon Musk to, to lead their Department of Government Efficiency. I guess that was like their AI move and the $500 billion, ultimate AI deal that's meant to improve AI infrastructure across the U.S., which MGX is backing.
Yeah.
That's
They're
what I
the
find really
financial
big.
backbone, basically.
But you know what I'm like really thinking about? It's like, honestly, I've just, I might be completely wrong, but remember that video, that AI video that came out, the Trump Gaza video?
Yeah.
That basically Donald Trump, he published it on his Instagram. This random artist had made it, and their biggest concern was actually angering Donald Trump with the video. But do you remember when that video came out? Remember what happened right after that? We got the Arab plan.
Yeah.
So basically, right after that video, right after that Trump Gaza video, where Trump came up with this entire plan to take over Gaza,
Turn it into a Riviera.
yeah, and that was the exact timing that the Arabs all came together and they're like, okay, we're going to hold an emergency summit in Cairo.
Yeah.
We're going to propose a $53 billion reconstruction plan for Gaza. That is when they all came together.
Yeah.
That's when we saw President El-Sisi, we saw Qatar's Prime Minister, we saw the King of Jordan. There were a lot of important figures there. And notice that's after a video that Trump published, an AI video that he published, and it's like, Majid, when you sit there and you think about it, don't you think that he maybe did that by purpose?
Maybe he did it.
Because in the end of the day, I don't think that anyone would be supportive of the killing of anyone, but his issue
displacement of like a whole population of people.
Exactly. I think his issue might just be the fact of, I don't want to fund it. I don't want to fund it. And he just wants to trigger the Arab world to actually come together and fund it. Have you ever actually thought about this? Because I deeped it. I was like, this is all
It's a
coincidentally.
conspiracy theory. A lot of people are
I
saying
think that
what you're
it's all
saying.
coincidentally happening at the same time.
See, I would very much disagree with you because I don't think it was a reaction to it. It was already in plan.
No, but they got really scared and they came together.
No, it wasn't scared. The thing is that the idea of all this happening is no one reads what's the context, what's the background. So Egypt's plan, which was then approved by all Arab countries, it wasn't like a one-day plan that they randomly decided after the video. It has been in motion since the Gaza war started. So
Since
Egypt,
2023?
yeah. So Egypt took the lead on it. The problem is that no one goes in the background. Everyone just looks at the big new headline. Everyone forgets the context. So that plan is old. That plan is not new. He's always been proposing plans for Gaza because they want to somehow become Saudi Arabia and UAE. Like we mediate a lot of stuff. UAE mediates a lot of stuff between big nations. Another prison swap between Russia and Ukraine recently happened because of UAE, was mediated by UAE. Everyone is going to Saudi Arabia to get mediation. Egypt also wants to play that role in this region. So they've been planning this for a long time. They've been giving drafts and ideas. The good thing that happened is, reaction-wise, that finally this time a lot of people came together. So it wasn't a reactive approach. It was just that they thought it is the perfect time. But it was in place for a long time.
There is no update about where this funding is coming from.
They said, see, you did the story on the plan that it's in 4 phases. The very first thing
No,
that
I mean which countries?
all of them will contribute.
But
You go into the specific details.
There's no specific figures that have been released.
Figures will never come out because it's going to be 53 billion plan. Saudi will contribute, UAE will contribute. Egypt itself is facing a lot of problems, so they won't. Qatar is already helping a lot with Syria and Lebanon and everyone. They're already doing that, so Qatar will contribute. Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, they're very well managed countries, but their GDPs are not as big as Saudi and UAE. So the bulk of the money will come
But
from
their sovereign wealth funds are really strong.
Yeah,
They're
so
doing really well.
The bulk of money will come from these developed countries, but obviously the World Bank, IMF, all of them will UN will contribute.
I get
I'm
what
just
you
working
mean,
on
but
this story.
I mean it in the sense of I don't think that money has come.
It will
I don't
come,
think
it
that
will
money
come.
has come because I remember what I was reading. I remember the BBC reported that there is some fear actually involved with providing funds for the plan, because certain leaders basically it was hinting at the. It was hinting that certain leaders are afraid of, will this money even be used
No, it
for
will not
this
be.
plan?
See, you're not giving money to Palestine or the sitting Palestinian Authority. You're going to put some regulators in check, and they're always there. Whenever these rebuilding plans happen, throughout history, you see there's someone regulating it. It's either UN, it's either the Arab League, the emergency meeting. All of these guys will form a committee. So technically, it's very complicated. It's not just like you take 100 dirhams and go out and buy candy. It's very complicated to put up regulators, right regulators who will not be biased, who will be objective, who will see everything rightly,
Or who
won't
won't
be
embezzle the money.
sold out, who won't go into corruption, who have a good record. So just starting, again, every plan, just the pre-planning phase is the most difficult. Once you put up a good plan, they've put up a good plan, the implementation will be slow, to be honest. That's the only thing that I worry about.
Yeah.
It is going to be slow, but it is going to be there.
But just speaking of plans, Adnoc is planning to buy Shell South Africa fuel stations. Now, Abu Dhabi's national oil company Adnoc has been shortlisted to acquire Shell's downstream assets in South Africa, including a network of about 600 fuel stations. Now, the potential deal is valued at up to $1 billion, according to a report by Bloomberg.
And Shell's South African portfolio includes fuel retail and local trading operations. The company reportedly appointed Rothschild to oversee the sale and is expected to select a buyer in the coming weeks. Adnoc declined to comment on the matter when they were approached by AGBI.
Now, Swiss commodities trader Gunvor is also among the shortlisted bidders. Now, earlier contenders included Saudi Aramco, South African energy company Sasol, and global trading firm Trafigura. Now, Shell currently holds around 10% of South Africa's fuel retail market.
And this move aligns with Adnoc's broader strategy to expand internationally. In 2023, Adnoc Distribution acquired a 50% stake in Total Energies Marketing Egypt, marking its entry into North Africa. The company has said it will continue to explore M&A opportunities despite a 7% drop in 2024 net profit.
Now, beyond fuel retail, Adnoc has increased its global presence in petrochemicals, liquefied natural gas, LNG, and trading. Now, it recently partnered with Austria's OMV to launch the $60 billion Borouge Group International and bought into an LNG export project in Texas. Adnoc is also exploring additional natural gas assets in the United States.
Yeah, the thing you remember we talked about.
We did.
Went to get the coffee.
The way that they're diversifying, I think
Yeah.
with Adnoc, their expansion strategy, it's just honestly, it's really smart and it's really basic because of the fact that we're seeing oil prices are dropping.
Yeah.
There was a time I believe it was $8. It was at $8 specifically, and then it dropped to $6.
$80.
Oh,
80,
sorry.
and it came down to 60.
So sorry.
But then it went up to 65. It's trading around 65 to 70,
Yeah, it went
somewhere
from
in between.
$80 per barrel
yes.
to $60 per barrel. So what these, what these oil companies have to do is for them to, still be alive and still have high profit margins, they need to diversify. And the way that Adnoc has done this is that they've increased their retail items that they're selling, and they've done this in the way through coffee. They've done this, their coffee is insane, by the way. They use Ethiopian coffee beans, and, they've just created a lot of options for their clients to stay loyal. And their rewards program is really good, by the way. Like my family with Adnoc, we go there, we get our points. You can get a discount when you buy petrol, Majid.
The good thing is they know that they can't depend on oil. Again, it's Adnoc, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. It's based on the idea that they'll sell oil, but they've realized that it's not the only thing that they can rely on because prices are fluctuating. It's very bad. Right now, I'm seeing it's 62.85 right now, the per barrel price. It keeps going up and down.
Wait, what is it right now specifically?
62.91. It's changing, so it updates. So
Majid,
62.91.
Honestly, while you're reading that, the feeling that I'm getting, because I remember when I joined this job with you in the beginning, first show that I hosted with Majid, we were talking about how it was like at $80. So the fact that it has dropped so quickly.
And the thing is that every country has their budgets and everyone needs oil at a different price. $90 is like the minimum amount that Saudi want to have an equal budget. Like if they spend 100 riyals, they want oil to be at $90 per barrel so they can get 100 riyals back. That's the breaking point for them, equal point for them. With Abu Dhabi, the point is lower. It's at nearly $70 per barrel because they are more diversified than Saudi Arabia and also a smaller economy, so they don't get affected a lot. But still, they want the oil to be at 70. So that's one of the reasons. The main thing from this story is that there's 600 petrol stations. So imagine 600 retail stores. They're literally going all in.
Wait, where is this?
600, you read the first
Okay.
one. So 600 stores.
Sorry, it's just because previously we discussed their expansion and how many stores that they
so
opened.
Shell South Africa has 600 stores under them. So 600 stores, if Adnoc somehow wins this bid and overtakes them, they'll have 600
I'm
stores
rooting for
to
you.
run,
I'm rooting for
right?
you, Adnoc. I really am.
And it will become, it's going to add to their retail profits and retail money that they'll get through
But
retail.
Majid, what's really interesting right now is that, even though oil prices are going down, gold prices are soaring at, an insane high.
Yeah.
I mean, it was reported that gold hit over $3,000 per ounce. And Egyptian billionaire Naguib Suarez, he went on to X to say that China is dumping the US for gold. What do you think about that?
And they're right. The gold is like the best safe haven for everyone in the world. Whenever anything is going up and down, people start investing in gold because it's the safest investment because you can physically buy gold. So he's right, to be honest.
I don't think I'll invest in it now. It's gone up. I need to.
Very
Do
interesting.
you think it will ever go down again, Majid?
Gold it won't come down as much. The thing with gold prices, once they go up, they come very little down. Again, there's only enough gold in the world. You also talked about silver, remember, that there's only enough silver in the world, enough gold in the world. That is why whenever the prices go up, so if it goes to 3250, maybe it'll come down to 50, but it'll never come down to 2700 unless there's like millions of dollars of gold found on Mars and Elon Musk finds it and brings it back to Earth. The limitation on their discovery is the reason that their prices keep going up. But gold is the long-term game for a lot of people. But it's also a safe haven. So whenever they're facing problems with anything, stock market, real estate, whatever, they just pull out the money, liquidate all their stuff, assets, and they just put it in gold. Because it doesn't drop that much like the markets. Stock markets, in the worst cases, can go 50% down. So your 1 million is 500,000. But gold, it will come down 100, 200, 300 maybe. So that's why it's considered a safe haven. The interesting thing is, you were talking about China. I was looking at this report yesterday, and China is the biggest holder of US Treasury bonds. So I was looking at it. There was the whole video, actually, not a report. I just remembered the graphics. And if China pulls out that money, they're like, okay, take your bonds, give us the money back. US can go literally bankrupt in a day. But they won't do it because US Treasury bills and bonds are very sacred also. Warren Buffett has the most.
The power that they hold.
Yeah,
the power that they hold.
So whatever Trump is trying to do, it's not working for him right now. That is why he's paused the tariffs. Then he went up to 245, and then White House published a statement. Oh, sorry, it's not 245. It's up to 245. We won't go above that, but it'll stay around 140, 50. And then he came on.
Oh, so it can be within that range.
Yeah,
is basically what they're
like
saying.
the sale thing. You remember every board has up to 70% off. You go inside, some is at 20%, some is 20. Very rarely you see an item at 70%. But the last thing that Trump said is, oh no, I'm not going to push them that much. I'm not. So Trump, whatever he tried with the world, a lot of places it worked. 70 plus countries, he said, came to the discussion table. But with China, it's not working. Chinese are like, we don't
honestly,
care.
You know,
literally, quote unquote, we don't care.
Honestly, you know what I'm like thinking right now? It's almost uncanny how every single, supposed superpower in the business world is going down.
Yeah.
If you actually think about it, it's almost like a malignant disease that's spreading. Yeah. First, it started with PwC in Saudi Arabia, them being banned for a year from providing their consulting services.
Sorry, before I forget, PwC closed down all their businesses in Africa now. They've literally shut down 9
this is what I'm talking
headquartered
about.
offices.
And Majid, by the way, it was not just PwC. Yeah. It was also EY. I believe, was it in 2019? Yes, in 2019, there was this case with Thomas Cook, and basically, what's it called? So the Financial Reporting Council in the UK fined EY, which is a part of the Big Four, I believe 4.5 billion euros for basically not, this company, Thomas Cook, they just did not audit their accounts well enough. They did not actually see, as an auditor, you have a responsibility to see if a company is going concern or
they
not.
Were just fined. Remember, we did a story on it. UK recently fined, 1 month ago.
They basically, Majid, they couldn't properly assess whether this company is going to go bankrupt or not, and because of that, they left a lot of people around the world just stranded.
Yeah.
That's what, because it's basically an airplane company, and it's, we see this case with EY, and then we see PwC in Saudi Arabia, and now we're seeing how public perception is completely changing of the US, where it's like, what are you doing? It's like,
just
it's so uncanny.
The PPTs.
It's really, no, seriously, it's so uncanny how all these supposed big, superpowers in the business world are just coming down. They're just toppling down, and me and you are getting, a first real look at this.
Front seat look, right? The very simple one sentence thing is every up has a down, every down has a up. For nearly a century, I would say, or at least less than a century, the West has been the center of the world. The Middle East is now the center. So they are facing problems everywhere, not in the consulting industry, not in literally everything is a problem for them right now. And that is why everyone is picking up their bags and coming to this region, because wherever the money is, the whole world moves there. And that is why every day you see a report, this company is coming to Abu Dhabi, this
Yeah.
company is coming to DIFC. This company has an office in DIFC and now they're opening an office in Abu Dhabi. These are the three stories which we see literally every day. It's not just asset managers, it's law firms who want to come and handle the cases of the clients here, because recently corporate tax was introduced like 2-3 years ago in UAE, so they want to help with that. So everyone is coming where the money is.
They are.
And this is the place where the money is.
I
right
remember
now.
even, the famous dessert company, Bleban, they actually
Yeah.
said on their Facebook post, Majid, that for them, Saudi Arabia was the starting point for their very quick expansion and success in the Gulf region, but also in the world.
Yeah.
That's kind of what, triggered more store opening.
Yeah.
And this is what segues us into our next topic. Now, the Egyptian dessert chain Bleban has announced the reopening of its branches in Saudi Arabia. Now, the company made the announcement through its official Facebook page, calling the kingdom the starting point of its success and regional expansion.
And the reopening comes after the brand reportedly shut down all operations in Saudi Arabia following 26 now confirmed food poisoning cases. Bleban also faced serious regulatory action in Egypt, where the National Food Safety Authority ordered the closure of all 110 branches across the country.
Now, the NFSA's decision followed lab tests, which revealed the presence of pathogenic bacteria in Bleban's products. Now, authorities also found banned food colorings. Remember, Majid, how I told you how, the mangoes are just almost looking too perfect and too yellow, and improper food storage across the company's affiliated brands, including Karam al-Sham, Kunafa wa Basbousa, Wahmi Burger, An'am Shaltat.
And in its statement, Bleban credited the reopening in Saudi Arabia and recent developments in Egypt to divine intervention, referencing President Abdullah Fattah al-Sisi's, Egyptian President Abdullah Fattah al-Sisi's involvement in convening emergency meetings on food safety. The chain has yet not confirmed when or if Egyptian branches will resume operations.
This is big. This
Yeah.
is completely insane. I mean, the way that everyone is just jumping down on it. I mean, the amount of commentators, I remember
She loves Bleban, by the way.
I love Bleban. In Ramadan, Majid,
Yeah.
it's not even a joke. I could pull out my camera roll. Like, I'm a #1 fan. I remember every single time guests would
Yeah.
come over, I'd order Bleban.
Nice.
Or just to like make my grannies happy, I would order
Yeah.
for them the kushari. And this story, it's just so concerning because it was almost like a domino effect.
Yeah.
It's so uncanny. 110 stores.
They've
But
just closed down.
but by the way, you should the interview that Amra Adib, the famous Egyptian journalist, he did with the founder of Bleban, and what was he saying to him?
I saw he broke down in between.
He broke down, and basically what he was saying is that we are an Arab brand. Stop trying to destroy our image. Give us a chance, and something that he kept repeating in that interview with I believe with the NBC. He kept saying to Amra Adib that we're just gonna listen to the government. We're gonna do whatever the government says. And it's like, I remember Amra what's it called, Amra Adib, he responded. What did he say? He said, Ya Akhuya, I just have one request from you, Ya Akhuya. But what did he say? He said, نزلوا السكر, like please reduce the amount of sugar. So if Amra Adib is thinking to himself that, okay, they're reopening, and he's on live TV telling everyone, like, please, like,
There's a lot of sugar in it.
just reduce the sugar content. But Majid, you know what I heard? I saw something that was just so weird. Basically, someone on Facebook was saying, by the way, Facebook is where Bleban has its largest audience. Yeah. Guys, 3 million
Millions.
followers. But it's like, when you think about that, it's like, it's a trend, by the way, Majid. Egyptians love Facebook. Saudis and Emiratis, they love Snapchat.
Yeah.
It's like everyone has their own favorite app, but anyways, that's beside the point. I saw this theory on Facebook where someone said that they basically, they bothered someone who is a high up official. And I'll tell you how.
Conspiracy theories again.
Maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but I'll tell you why there may be a sense of truth in it. I don't believe it. This is all alleged. This is just me reading. But basically, they're, one of the most famous biscuits shop in Egypt that makes kak, which is basically covered in, that grinded sugar. It's called Al-Abd. Now, Al-Abd, they really make such good kahk. And Blaban made an ad about them.
Yeah.
And this ad that they made, they were almost mocking, the Allah yarhamu, the dead founder of Al-Abd. And you saw the ad too. They look like the
Yeah.
same man. He was wearing glasses. And they deleted that ad. They deleted that ad, Majid. And I remember someone was saying that there was a country in the Gulf that purchased stake in Al-Abd. And they saw that ad. And they might have told an official in Egypt of you, because think about it, this entire closure, what was it triggered by? The Egyptian authorities, health authorities there, finally decided, you know what, we're going to do some lab tests.
Yeah.
We're going to go around to the Lebanon stores and we're going to check what's going on there. And that's where they discovered all these things. But if you really think about it, Majid, I hear a lot of people, by the way, get food poisoning in Cairo. A lot of people who go to Egypt, my own Egyptian friends tell me that you have to have a really strong stomach. And they warn me because I don't have a strong stomach. I'm just not built like that. But point is that you could go to a lot of restaurants and do different tests and you'd probably find issues in a bunch of them.
Yeah.
It does happen. It's very normal for, I feel, employees, especially when they're in a rush and demand is high maybe. But point is why out of all places would they check Bleban? There are so many restaurants in Egypt, but these 110 stores. So there might be a sense of truth in that
If
they
you start
bothered
connecting
someone.
the dots, they go very far. That's good investigative journalism. So if you can connect these dots and somehow find source to verify each and every fact, it actually turns out to be a story. But the only thing is that there's so many theories behind it. The only thing that I, on a personal level and on an observation level, I can say is with countries like Egypt, my country, Pakistan, the other countries that I've been to, you see UAE and Saudi Arabia very, very, very strictly imposing their health and safety precautions and all those laws. You go to other countries, the amount of filth you'll see around places, it's impossible to even think that this is hygienic.
It's not even filth, it's also nutrition.
No, nutrition-wise, though, it's a very different. Even the filth. You go to these countries, a lot of you have street vendors, people who are selling fruit on these movable carts. Everything is so unhygienic in those places.
No, I agree with
so
you.
yeah, it begs the question that why would you go to a store and check? Where's the health and safety
Because
check
these things,
for those guys?
they are common. They are common, by the
Yeah.
way. Like I remember in Sudan, there was this really famous spot. It's called Al Bayt Al-Suri.
Okay.
It's Majid. It's the best shawarma I had in my life. And it was ran by Syrians. They were all Syrians who ran the spot. But I remember when I would go into it to order sometimes, I would see bees flying around the smoothie station. And you know what? Honestly, by the way, it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me because I'm
Because
whatever.
you understand the environment of that country,
That this is
right?
the scene. This is the
what
scene.
happens.
We don't,
Yeah.
we don't actually have the funds to have something more fancy.
Yeah.
But they produce the best shawarma I ever had. No, seriously, I mean it. And all those Syrians, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but basically after what happened in Syria, Sudan had given a lot of Syrian people passports.
Nice.
Yeah, it gave them citizenship, and even honestly, all the better because they made our food scene so beautiful. But in Egypt, that's what I mean. I know there are a lot of places that probably have the same issues. So why is Lebanon specifically being targeted? And I think, by the way, the criticism towards the brand is extremely harsh. I think that it's extremely harsh for a
The
brand.
bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Think about it, Majid. The brand was founded in 2021.
Yeah.
Guys, that's 4 years.
See, you have to understand some marketing lesson, again, in this very single sentence before we move to Abu Dhabi. The thing is, with brand marketing, you have so many ways to sell your brand, emotional appeal, blah, blah, blah. There's just one way which Bilaban chose, the aggressive way. Like mocking others, mocking their products, mocking their brands, being very in-your-face brand. It works. It works miracles. 2021, they were formed. They're the talk of the town. The only problem with that is if you somehow do something bad in your process, people will come back at you hard because you went at them hard. So you have to prepare
Your
for this.
marketing, your propaganda went at them hard.
So whenever you're doing such aggressive marketing, you have to see where your house is, if your house is clean.
Imagine those
So that is the
25
problem I saw.
Those 25,000 employees.
It's
that
fine.
that
There's
lost-
like millions of other businesses
It's
which
not-
have shut
I
down
know-
over the years.
I know you're saying it's
more than
fine, but
100,000.
I actually, we
Yeah.
know someone, we know a family friend who works for Bleban
Yeah.
in Egypt, and out of nowhere, and he even said it himself, he's just laying in bed. And there's no work. It was not like a. By the way, it was not something which the employees oversaw, from what
It's
I
not
heard.
there, yeah.
And
They
by the
couldn't
way,
have seen
he
it
was
also.
he was using that money to take care of not just himself, but a lot of his family members that escaped, the war that's right now ongoing, the civil war that's ongoing in Sudan. So I have so much empathy for those employees.
You have to see the utilitarian perspective on this. A little bit of philosophy now, since we're discussing it. Would you say that him running a business, even with those unhygienic practices, still supporting 25,000 families and all the other people that he's supporting through his causes, is that fine? Or is the one person who got food poisoning because they were not clean enough, or there was some sanitary problem, is that person important?
Look, I think
It's a
that they're
very
both,
difficult philosophical
look,
debate.
I honestly, I think that they're both equally affected, the
Yeah.
customer
So
and the
even
one
one
making
person
it.
getting poisoned
But
because of
Majid,
their unsanitary
these
habits.
employees, they don't lead themselves. They have
No, no.
someone leading them.
My point is, if nothing happened, great, 25,000, all this causes, great. But even if one person gets food poisoning, and serious food poisoning, like just upset stomach is not that. If you go and get admitted to the hospital and it's a health scare, will that one person be more important, or those 25,000 plus the causes he supports are more important? That's the
I think
argument that you have to put forward.
it's
And
not even-
to be honest, that is why rules are always in place.
Yeah.
That one person should be also important. I know the 25,000 people affected, very sad for them, but it's the company, it's the brand's responsibility to take care of
Because
them,
also-
because they started
Yeah.
it. They started the aggressive marketing. They started and no one came at them. They went to people and they attacked them through ads, and they're very in your face. I love them for it. Very rarely you
No, I
see a
love their
brand.
ads. I found them
Yeah.
really entertaining.
Very rarely you see a brand come and throw everything in their opponents' faces. It was a very nice case study. But then you have to keep your house in order as well. And that is what I think happened with them. They didn't keep their house in order, went into other people's faces, and somehow karma, or maybe those people, whoever came back at them, it happened. But thankfully, they're open in Saudi Arabia back. So Saudi Arabia is a big market. They will make their money again and most probably set their house in order, Egyptian house in order, and restart. And maybe they'll hire 50,000 people now. Moving on to Abu Dhabi, we're just talking about it, the cleanliness and everything. So Abu Dhabi's tourism sector is on track to contribute 62 billion dirhams to the Emirates' GDP in 2025. That's 13% of their total GDP, total economy, according to Mohammed Khalifa Al Mubarak, chairman of the Department of Culture and Tourism. The number reflects a 13% year-on-year increase. Al Ittihad reported this.
Now, hotel revenues are projected to rise to 8.6 billion dirhams next year, while tourism is expected to support 255,000 jobs, up from 25,000 last year. Now, the long-term ambition is to grow the sector's GDP contribution to 90 billion dirhams by the year 2030.
And the momentum is already building. International hotel guests rose 4% in the first quarter of 2025, with an average occupancy rate of 79% across the Emirate and 82% in Abu Dhabi city. I was one of them. I went to Abu Dhabi this weekend. Top visitor source markets include India, China, the UK, Russia, and Saudi Arabia.
Now, Abu Dhabi has also widened its focus, expanding target tourism markets from 11 countries in 2023 to 25 this year, including the CIS region, Japan, and Eastern Europe. Now, cultural tourism remains a cornerstone of this strategy, with new landmark projects taking center stage.
And the Emirate recently opened Team Lab Phenomena Abu Dhabi, where the DCT chairman was speaking, a 17,000 square meter immersive art experience All the celebrities were there. Thor was there. The Zayed National Museum and Natural History Museum are also expected to open this year, with the Guggenheim Museum on track for 2026. And the second sphere in the world after Las Vegas is going to also open in Abu Dhabi. There's a lot of details that haven't come out. It's just announced that Abu Dhabi is going to be there. So Al Mubarak confirmed 2 more mega cultural projects that they'll be announced soon, regardless of oil price fluctuations, whatever is happening with oil. So this was a very interesting link. He talked about oil prices with Bloomberg, that we will keep continuing our tourism push. We will keep building these cultural places where people come. Even if the oil is at 55, we don't care. And if the oil goes up to 100, we're still going to build them. We're still going to invest in them, because tourism is one of the sectors that Abu Dhabi has in focus. It's like, if you say top 5 non-oil sectors, tourism, I think, would be number 2 or number 3 at least. So yeah, let's see.
It is really my dream
Yeah.
to visit that mosque one day. I forgot its
You
name.
haven't gone there?
I haven't gone there. No,
It's
I've
a very
not.
big mosque. You have to walk a lot, but nicely. It's very nicely built.
I'll
Go in
tell
the
you,
evening.
I'll tell you something, by the way, Majid. I think that AD food is better than Dubai food.
Yeah.
It's way better. I mean, the memory of of going to my grandfather's house in Abu Dhabi, and my dad, he goes to this place. I honestly forgot the name. I didn't have a sense of direction. I wasn't paying attention. But they make this fish, Majid, and it has this like tomato spicy sauce slathered all over it. They remove the fish bones for you. They clean it really well. I've never tasted seasoning like that. Even after I've gone to the fish market here, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I've never come across that again. And all I'm yearning for is to just go to Abu Dhabi just to have that fish. But sorry, what were you
I
going to
think
say?
Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, after like going to all these places now, they have their
Yeah.
distinct taste. It's not better or worse. I love
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi food also, and I love Sharjah food, and I love food in Dubai also. But I've realized after a long time that it's not bad or good. Like comparatively, you can say they have their own. It's very weird because nearly everyone sells the same food. They have the same systems, nearly the same cooks, which circle around in different shops. That's very interesting. We should do something about it, finding like how every new restaurant comes up with a new cook and like a whole staff, because they keep circling around into places. So it's a whole industry where these guys are there. But yeah, the main thing is they have a very distinct flavor. Sharjah, I believe, is more spicy than Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Sharjah is good.
If I want,
Sharjah is really good.
Spicy, I will go to Sharjah.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi, I think the Emirati food. We had breakfast at Al Fanar in Yas Mall. The best Emirati food I've ever had.
What did you have?
Fool. There was this mutton dish, like very tender mutton in oil, gravy. They brought their naans. The only desi thing was paratha and kadak, obviously. But fool was there. They had their labne with zaatar. So I usually don't like labne. It's a little too sour for me. But that was like very mildly sour.
Try Turkish labna. Turkish labna is not sour. When you go to Carrefour,
right in
get
front
Turkish.
of that is Bosphorus also. So yeah, someday whenever I go to Abu Dhabi again, I'm going to Bosphorus. My wife has eaten there; she likes it. But Al Fanar, I have heard, she was telling me the history.
Arabian tea house is also
Arabian
really
tea house. The second
Yeah.
was I liked the food, so she was like, next we're going to Arabian tea house, because these two are like the oldest
Go to the one in
Emirati food
Nassif.
places.
Go to the one in Nassif. It's very beautiful. But for our final topic of the day, now Dubai's RTA has Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority has signed a major agreement with China's Baidu to launch experimental trials of autonomous taxis across the emirate. Now, the deal marks Baidu's first international expansion outside mainland China and Hong Kong as it prepares to deploy 50 self-driving vehicles in Dubai over the coming months.
The pilot will use Baidu's 6th generation autonomous model, the RT6, equipped with 40 sensors to ensure safety and precision. Dubai aims to gradually scale the fleet to 1,000 autonomous taxis by 2026, in line with the Emirates' smart, self-driving transport strategy, which seeks to convert 25% of all journeys to autonomous trips by 2030.
Now, to date, Baidu's Apollo Go service has completed over 10 million autonomous trips, logging more than 150 million kilometers of safe driving. Now, this move positions Dubai among the world's most advanced cities in self-driving transport innovation as it accelerates its adoption of AI and smart mobility.
And the MOU was signed by top officials from both sides, including RTA's CEO of Public Transport, Ahmed Hashim Behrozian, and Baidu's MENA General Manager Liang Zhang. RTA's Director General Matar Al Taher described the agreement as a pivotal step in realizing Dubai's long-term autonomous transport goals.
Now, this announcement follows another recent partnership between RTA, Uber, and autonomous tech company WeRide. Now, in April, Uber confirmed that Dubai would be one of the first cities where its app will support autonomous rides, starting with WeRide vehicles.
And WeRide, which secured the UAE's first national automatic vehicle license last year, already operates commercially in Abu Dhabi. Together, these partnerships solidify Dubai's mission to lead the world in smart transport, blending innovation, regulation, and private sector collaboration to redefine urban mobility. The main thing is you will soon see autonomous taxis in Dubai. If you go to Abu Dhabi, you want to test them before you test them in Dubai. I would say just go to Abu Dhabi and try one of them. They're really cool, really scary, but really cool for the first time. But afterwards, I think after like 2 or 2 trips, you get used to of not having a driver. It's like you're sitting behind and the driver is driving a car. It's just the driver is wearing an invisible band to become invisible.
Yeah.
He has a superpower. But yeah, they're very, very safe. You just go and watch the videos. You'll find out.
You know what I really don't hope for though, Majid? Because basically I've been noticing something lately. Every single time I order a taxi from Kareem, I either get like BYD or I get a Tesla or I get the options are endless.
Yeah.
If this shows up with no driver and it's like 12 at night, trust, I will be panicking. I will definitely be panicking.
You can choose it. I think in the start they will give you an option.
Let's
like
hope
in Abu
so.
Dhabi. In Abu Dhabi they have an option that if you want an unmanned car. And in the start they give discounts on them. So people will try to like access them and see them. Just so, if I'm paying 30 dirhams, I'll pay 20. Okay, let's try. For 10 dirhams, I'll risk my life. But no, they're very safe. The technology that we talked about, it's... we've already said 1 million trips, 150 million something kilometers of driving without any accidents. So they're like very well tested. That is why they're coming here.
And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business. And please stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to 1.6 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. See you
Have
tomorrow.
a good day.